Hi, I'm Burns Hargis, president of Oklahoma State University, and we're here for another edition of Inside OSU. And this is a very special edition of Inside OSU because with us today is one of OSU's most distinguished graduates, Tererai Trent, Dr. Tererai Trent, who is a graduate of Oklahoma State, a double graduate, in fact, of Oklahoma State. And also, you do have this distinction of being Oprah Winfrey's favorite guest, which is quite a distinction. All the years she's been on television. So your story really is wonderful, and we're very proud that you ended up here at Oklahoma State and have done all you've done for your country. Let's kind of start at the beginning. You were raised in Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe.
When I came to Oklahoma State University, I was coming from rural Zimbabwe, a very small village, very poor. I grew up with no running water, no electricity, but I had a dream. I wanted an education more than anything.
And how did you select Oklahoma State University?
As I was working towards achieving my dreams, I asked the American embassy, I want to go to America, and I'm going with 5 children, and I don't want to go to a big city. I just want a small city, and they said, well, go to the U.S. library. So I went into this library, and there was this woman, I believe she's from Oklahoma, I don't know where she's from. She looked at me, she said, well, you come from the northern part of Zimbabwe, and they have red soils. And I said, yeah. And we have children, many children. And I said, yeah. I know a university where you can go, a community that will accept you. And I said, which one? Stillwater, Oklahoma. It's a small community. They have red soils. They have indigenous people, and you fit in right there.
I'm trying to imagine how difficult it had to have been to get here in the first place with 5 children, but then to study and succeed as you did here for a bachelor's degree and then later a master's degree with 5 kids to raise. How did you manage?
It was the most difficult thing in my life because I arrived on a Christmas Eve. The following day, I think it was a Sunday, and I was in Bennett Hall, and I saw this church with a sign of a wine, a cup. I walked to that building. As I walked into that building, the very first man who approached me was Ron Beer.
Ron was head of student affairs at the time.
I could not have achieved what I have done without Ron Beer. I could not have done it.
Oh, wonderful.
I could not have done it. He rallied the whole community. He saw something in me that I was not seeing.
You went on then after your time here and got a PhD.
Yeah.
And you've been engaged in some very important work since then. You talk about that.
After I had completed my PhD, I knew that I needed to go back home. There was never any moment that I doubted about going home. I needed to go and give back this education that I had received, and because I had others who believed in me, and I felt that I had a moral obligation to go and give back to my own country. And I was very lucky that Oprah Winfrey, she called me to be a guest at her show. And
how did that happen? How did she hear about you?
You know, there is a book that was written by Nicholas Kristof, Half the Sky. He wrote that book, and apparently I appear in one of the chapters. So Oprah got hold of the book and read it, and she said, I want to see that woman. So I appeared in 2009, and then this last year in 2011, when she donated 1.5 million and brought a remarkable organization, Save the Children. So I partner with Save the Children, Oprah Winfrey, to build the schools in Africa. We are building 9 schools in Zimbabwe, starting with the very school that I attended when I was a child.
This piece of cardboard that you wrote down 5 things on, and you buried in a can, I guess,
Yeah.
At your home in Zimbabwe. Tell us about that.
So when my mother realized I wanted an education so badly, and I had talked to this heifer woman, she said, write down your dreams and bury them in a safe place. I wanted to come to America and have an education. I wanted a bachelor's science degree. I wanted master's. I wanted a PhD. And as my mother said, it's not only about you. What are you going to do about it? Then I wrote somewhere, I just want to come back and improve the lives of women.
You've come back to Stillwater, to Oklahoma State, to speak in our ethical leadership series. Can you tell us what you've been sharing with our students about the whole concept of ethical leadership?
A leader has to be ethical. You have to be accountable. You have to be a person of integrity, a person that is able to motivate others. When you talk, people, they listen. They become captivated with what you're saying, not because you're a beautiful person, but because the why of why you do things, that's what they want. They want a dream that addresses humanity as well as address their needs. That's the leader that I want to follow.
You are truly an ethical leader. You've accomplished all those dreams that you wrote down on that piece of cardboard, and we know you'll continue to do that. We're very proud that you're an Oklahoma State graduate. So thanks so much for taking time to visit with us today. It's an incredibly inspiring story.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.